Hey. Where am I? What is this? Hello? Hello? Is anyone there? Nothing. Damn it! Where is this place? Why am I here? Damn, I can't remember. My name is... Wait. Who am I?
Welcome to Tran Plays Scar Lead Salvation. This is definitely not the kind of game I normally play, but I saw it was by Idea Factory, who took over the publishing for Dokapon Kingdom, which was one of my favorite games ever. Dokapon Kingdom was originally released in 2007, and Idea Factory took over in 2023 for their worldwide release as a publisher, not the developer. This is developed by Idea Factory, and I was curious to see where things were going.
I can't remember a thing. You can't be serious.
This is a shooting game, and your character being female, your armor does start to deteriorate, revealing more of her clothing underneath as game goes on.
Robot? Hey! Can you talk at all?
It's gonna try to stand on it.
What? It can move?
Normally your health bar is on the bottom left, but since this is a tutorial, you don't get a health bar, you just survive. Your armor does actually take hits for you, so until your metal armor and then your Samus Aran style armor underneath are removed, you don't take damage on those locations. Enemies and traps on the floor will try to obstruct you. Good enough.
Hey! Why are you attacking me? I don't get it. Sheesh.
When you're in hallways, the camera zooms in. It's not normally this tight in. I would personally suggest, not the developers watch my stuff, but I would personally suggest get rid of the hallways. I know that may make it more difficult for you to make your procedurally generated maps and rooms connect to each other. The hallways are totally unnecessary. Alright, we have Mirage Shift, which is just dodging. That's a jump pad. Red boxes are... They drop weapons. Blue boxes drop, I guess, skill levels. And white boxes drop health and limit break stuff. It's called exo skill, but I just use general terminology. In this case, we get a blast haze. I'm gonna go and pick it up, but I need to explain something that if anybody does decide to play the game. Oh, I guess I can't open my inventory right now in the tutorial. Okay, well, I guess I'll explain that later. Alright, this is my exo skills. Exo skills can only be assigned to certain slots. Like a tier 1 can only have certain things, a tier 2 can only have certain things. So as the game goes on, any of these defense ups by itself will just be tier 1. Now sometimes you'll find...
I'll take a break.
I need to run around so she doesn't keep saying that. Actually, I can also pause this way. Normally there's more options here, but since we're in the tutorial, many of it's locked down. But sometimes you'll find skills such as Striker, and that'll be tier 1, and then you'll find Striker 2, which is the exact same skill growth, but that'll be for tier 2. There are other ways to get certain skills where they can be slotted, but there is no mix and match for that kind of thing. All defense by itself, if it's not like a special ranking behind it, that's always going to be tier 1. The reloading, there is unfortunately no reloading animation. There's just a reloading, it's not even a bar. You hit R, and that's all you get. That's it. I guess she does kind of have a reloading animation. But it's not animated in terms of how long you have to reload. Because you can upgrade your weapons, and it can change how long things reload for. This one's saying that I can build up my limit break by parrying. Like that. At least that's what I think it said. I'm just kind of rushing through it because I don't want to stay on those tutorial freeze screens. At the bottom of the screen, you can see my little bar above the shield. And when I parry, by doing an attack, I get a little more bar. You can also get bar by killing things, which will probably be the most common way you do it. Door is still locked. It does require me to break this open, which will drop, in this case, that's limit break material right there, or my gauge. These are gold right now. Normally when you get hit, you not only suffer health damage, but you lose limit break power. Your limit break power doesn't even mitigate damage though. You just happen to lose it along with things. If I press T right now, I activate my onslaught ability, and then I won't be able to take damage. But unfortunately, you don't get infinite ammo or anything like that, so that's kind of weak. However, note that if you leave it alone, your defense skill or whatever skill you have,
stand around.
Talking. Your skill is actually called boosted, meaning that it's actually even higher tier than normal. So it's a rank 1 defense skill, it might give you something like 10%. Right now it's rank 1 boosted, so that might actually get me something like 20%. I have all the exact numbers written down in a spreadsheet as I always do. This is my shotgun. You can only carry 2 different weapons, but there's say 8 different weapons in the game. I get a lot of lag in the game when enemies spawn, so if you see my camera flip out like that, that's because I'm doing like a minor turn, but when the game lags, it retains my attempt at mouse motion and makes me jump all the way over here. So let's go ahead and activate my onslaught at this time. Alright, a couple things about reloading. I said that there's not even an animation for it. Well, since it's not tied to an animation, what we can actually do is the bar beneath my reticle is how much ammo I have left. I can hit R now, and as soon as the reloading goes, I can switch to another weapon. Like that. And then later, when I switch back to the shotgun, if I've waited long enough for that reload duration, like this is now the shotgun again, not that you can necessarily tell a difference, it's already fully loaded. So that'll come in handy when you're playing later on in the game.
Is anybody here? Guess not.
But yeah, I practiced enough that I have a pretty good idea of how to play this game. Even though we are in the tutorial section. But I've never seen the cutscenes because I always skip through it. Since I knew I'd see it later.
What is this thing? Damn. What was that? Did I die? Is this a dream? No, it can't be. It's the same place as before. There are weapons. Guess I have to go.
I think that's weak. They're forcing you to respawn. I would rather just play the game without you, as one would do a hardcore mode, and never die. So the tutorial gives you infinite life, you won't actually die until this point. This is the location where the player starts. It's your hub. Even then, it's still tied to a giant hallway, and then another room after it. Let's just stick it all in the first room. Right here it says primary, that's incorrect. The reason why this is actually incorrect is when I had equipped the shotgun, and you switch to it, if it's your currently active weapon, it'll say primary under shotgun. The reason why this matters is when you die, you hold the gun in this hand. But you can only swap guns. Similar to Halo, you'll find, maybe you're holding a pistol, you run up and you find an assault rifle, and you press and hold whatever button is for pickup, you switch your pistol out for that assault rifle. Well, in this game, The first thing I pick up will go in this secondary slot, and then if I'm in this slot, which was currently called primary, that'll always be the one you respawn with. It's a little confusing right now, but I'll show you as soon as we get a second weapon again.
Hey.
Who are you?
What a greeting. You're the one who contacted me. Twice, right? I can't explain who I am, but I can say that I'm not who you expect.
So who are you then?
I'm an AI, a military AI to be specific. Designation code ACS/MOG67789, but don't fret about remembering. I don't expect you to.
Military? Well, that doesn't matter. What is this place?
This is a military facility. That's why I've been dispatched here.
Military. So, that's why there are robots?
What's wrong?
If communication is possible, then can you call for a rescue?
Sorry, but no.
What do you mean, no? Fine. Then I'll just have to escape on my own.
If you want, I can give you support.
Huh?
Speaking as a military AI, your presence here is strange. Since we don't know how you arrived, the military isn't going to send help. But think about it another way. If we can figure out how this happened, they might dispatch help. See?
So you're saying I should investigate?
Don't overthink it. If you plan on escaping, you'll be exploring the facility, right? Just tell me what you observe along the way. Perhaps this is a good opportunity. It is better to light one's candle than curse the darkness, you could say.
Huh? You're an AI, but you're using such complicated expressions.
AIs want to show off what they know, too.
Whatever. Let's go. And for the record, I'm not counting on your support.
The yellow text guy, he's completely useless, and I feel that the game would be better off without him. With that being said, I understand that they want something. I'm just step out of that bright area for a second. But I understand that the game wants you to have someone that your character can talk to. The only good thing about him is that you can hear the character's voice acting. I like it. Like when she sounds exasperated or aggravated, you can pick that up. The only thing I don't like is when you enter an area, she pretty much always says, "Here we go again," or over and over. When you say things like that, it makes players not want to play your game. Because then they also think, "Oh, here we go again," and over and over. So why would you want to keep playing? You're basically discouraging your player from playing. This is what I mean. You could just get rid of the hallway. There's no point for this. It serves no purpose. Just might as well stick you in this room. All right, so each of these would teleport you. That would be Sector 3, Sector 2, Sector 1, and Death. That's basically it. You start at Sector 3 and you are working your way up to the surface to get out.
We set off at last.
No need to get so excited. Let's tone it down.
You know, you're pretty weird. You're not very AI-like.
Weird? Not at all. AI, as the name implies, is a type of intelligence. The more advanced an AI is, the more it reflects human behavior. Our similarities are a sign of technological progress.
Yeah, you're definitely weird. I'm starting to feel exhausted.
Right when we're about to start exploring?
I just had a dream about being attacked by robots. But there's no use worrying about it. Let's move. It's that robot.
The one you mentioned. You said you saw it in your dream.
Yeah, that one. So it wasn't a dream?
Maybe this is the darkest hour before the dawn. In case you don't know, that means things seem worst before, at last, you finally find relief.
Oh, shut up for a bit!
I like her voice acting, but the yellow dude's totally useless.
Oh, I thought I was gonna die.
You're stronger than I expected. Did you receive training somewhere?
How would I know that? Wait, I actually don't remember.
Don't remember? What an interesting way to phrase it. Or are you practicing the concept of silence is golden?
Not like that.
You can see above my crosshair when enemies are in the area, there's a little radar, as well as on the top right of the screen.
I think I'll take a break.
I'll try to stop occasionally, but not too often, because the biggest, I guess, thing that I can show you is the dialogue.
Honestly, I probably have amnesia. I don't know my name or where I'm from.
I see. You've got troubles, but this is far from out of the frying pan into the fire. Considering your strength, you should be able to escape the facility. Maybe.
What's with that half-assed encouragement? I'm desperate. Nobody's here to help.
Uncertain situations can spiral out of control. By rule, the military really can't send help.
Well, shit.
I don't actually like the Seeker Glow, but I'll go and show it off. The weapons actually all have a same color, so any of the green weapons are going to be the assault rifle we just used, and any of the pink weapons will be the Seeker Glow, which I currently have, which fires like this, which isn't particularly impressive right now, but once you see an enemy, those shots will home in. The other weapon we picked up is the Shadow. This is basically an SMG. Less range, more fire rate.
I know complaining about it won't change anything, but the military's pretty damn useless.
What do you think soldiers are? They're trained, sure, but unfortunately, still human. They're weak when they lack information, as vulnerable as civilians, even. But their lives are equal to everybody else's. They shouldn't be thrown into more danger simply because they're soldiers.
Is that the kind of shit you say to someone left to die?
I'm not leaving you to die. I'm offering you my support, aren't I? Focus on uncovering the cause of this bizarre situation before worrying about anything else. Do that, and they may send you help.
I'll get out faster on my own. If I wait, I'll have rotted away by the time they get here.
When I'm looking at the enemy, if you see a red reticle, that means that they're in range. Your weapons do fade out because they're basically energy weapons. Even assault rifle doesn't have that far of a range. I said it in comparison to how you generally see the enemy in a giant room, so they can't fire from one side of the room to another. Now there's a way you can kind of immediately home in punch on the enemy, but you kind of have to jump and immediately melee, and your character will fly up to the enemy as they lock on. That was not it. That was not it either. Still not it. It doesn't look much different. It's just your character clearly homes in on the enemy when you do it. All right, taking a look at this. This was what my rapid fire. Sorry, not my rapid fire. This slot here that the Seeker Glow is in is the slot that my assault rifle was in. Yeah, I picked up the Rapid Shadow first after thinking about what would be my sub-weapon. It clearly says primary on the left and secondary on the right, right? So if you die, you're supposed to just keep your primary. Fine. All right, let me switch weapons now. I'm gonna hit Y. So now I'm equipped with my SMG. All right, I'm gonna open up the menu again. And look, the Rapid Shadow is in the primary. So you just have to remember if you want to keep hold of your one weapon. When you die, you lose the other weapon. So I would actually be keeping the Seeker Glow at this case. They may change that eventually. This is patch 1.0.3. But right now, if I were to die, I would keep the Seeker Glow, which is not even the weapon I want. Unfortunately, one thing I don't like is that your character takes a very long time to switch weapons. Like this long before you can fire. That's a long time for me. I feel like switch weapons should be much faster. Also, when you die, if you die, your character will believe that she's in a time loop. If you're a savvy gamer and you see your character, your female character is wearing high heels, you might conclude something else upon respawn rather than time loop. Again, blue boxes gives me skill. this one allows me to level up defense, since this would otherwise be a defense. Here's what I mean. Let me just swap out real quick. Now we're using Exo Force Resilience. That's not what I'm going to keep, but if I get hit, I lose 10% less damage than I would. Getting hit just once would already lower from full to half. So I would lose instead 45%, I guess, of my Exo Force. Okay, so this is secretly a defense 1. So is this one. Just by picking one up and merging with the other, you get 2. If I were to instead pick up a level 1 and then try to go over your previously equipped level 3, then it still becomes level 4. You'll never find, at least in, again, the version I'm playing, you'll never find an exo skill that isn't level 1. I do think the game should do that. There's, I don't know, we'll say 50 exo skills. And to get the one you want at the later tiers is frustrating. The game there's so many things that the game does that makes me feel like it does not want you to play it, which is why it has very low reviews on Steam. What caught my eye about it was that this was the publisher for Dokapon Kingdom, as I mentioned in the beginning. So you can see that with the white reticle, they're not actually in range of my SMG. Even though I'm clearly looking at them and I'm locking on target, they're out of range. Once you enter a room, there's a limited amount of time before the next wave spawns. So if you kill the first wave quickly, you won't even see the second wave. There's nothing stopping you from taking things slow and just shooting from the hallway and using the door to cover. But pretty much every room has walls that are at least this high. I want to call it Dust, similar to the science fiction game. I forget the name of that franchise. I want to call it Dust, but this is actually Money, which serves a similar purpose as Dust.
You can run, but you won't get away!
Yeah, that was the homing attack right there. That's the homing attack there. Yeah, I'm not going to use this right now, but I will show it what it looks like. When approaching a device or facility, press and hold E to interact. Fine, whatever. Press and hold to close. I don't like this press and hold business. I've always hated it. This is the level of your weapon. Right now, I have a Seeker Glow level 2. We can add 1 enhancement value to it, raising it to 3, and it will increase its stats. For your weapons, it'll always be attack, and then depending on what kind of weapon it is, it might be one of these others, such as reload or magazine. For this Seeker shot, it looks like it's increasing my magazine. You can only increase, of course, up to, or you can add the numbers up until it says insufficient, but your maximum level is 99. You only get benchmarks up to 50. What I mean is every 5 levels, you see the jump from 9 to 10, watch this jump. Ready? Bam, 9 to 10. Well, then 10 to 11, not so big. So every 5 levels, with the emphasis being on 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, you get a big jump in increase. But once you get to 50, no more increases of that magnitude all the way to 99. Yeah, you'll get a little bit of attack. It's probably not worth it because it becomes prohibitively more expensive the higher you level this up. Since I don't plan on keeping these weapons, I'm not going to spend my money on it. Your money is wiped out every time you die, but I would plan personally to make it to the end on my 1 life.
I can't just stand around.
The SMG, if we were to level it up to 5, you can see that there's a jump, right? It gives me some magazine. So the SMG will have a larger magazine the higher you level it. But then if I go to 10, it's an even bigger jump than the 5. Oops. Oh, I guess we might as well talk about this. Suspend allows you to save your progress in any rooms, provided you're not in battle. Restart basically kills off your character. And you even get you get another death marker, you lose your weapon, you lose your dust, whatever it's called. I think it's called Elm Chips. And return to title just exits without saving. Your game autosaves every time you go through a portal.
All right, let's get cracking.
I sure hope there's nothing to make a mountain out of a molehill here.
The hell? There are moles at the base?
It means to make a big fuss over small issues.
Huh? Oh, you're so annoying. Just say that from the start.
You really don't have any mental finesse.
Shut up!
See, I like her acting.
Hey, is there anyone staying here?
Yes, you.
You little That's not what I meant. Is there anyone else besides me here?
Nope, nobody.
Only robots, huh? This is a military facility, isn't it? What were they doing here?
It was a testing ground for weapons.
Was?
It closed down years ago. The reason these robots are still operational is because they have a self-maintenance function.
Thanks a lot for adding such an unnecessary feature.
But yeah, there's nothing that the yellow guy will ever say, ever, that is useful. So with basically a lackluster story, that is also one of the driving forces that a player would play, is to see more of the story. And with a lackluster version of that, it would make people less interested in playing the game, thus adding to the negative reviews of the. All right, let's open a map real quick. Every room you enter is pretty much got, almost every room will have 4 doors. So a couple of them might have 2 doors only. In the first run of the game, basically until you get to the exit, you'll only ever have 2 doors. The door you entered from, and the next door to the next area. Later on, you can have more of them open up to about 3 doors. The one you entered from and 2 that you can...
Testing ground for weapons, and it's been closed down. Why am I in a place like this?
That's what I want to know.
If only my memory would come back.
They say memory can return after significant emotional shock.
I've had enough shock. Any more than this would kill me. So, where did we leave off? About my amnesia.
You said you couldn't even remember who you are.
I really can't remember anything.
Saying anything might not be accurate, no? We're talking, right? So, we can conclude that you still have language and common sense.
Yeah, but not knowing who I am is as good as forgetting everything. Damn it. Who am I, really?
I see. Your title is as important as language and common sense. Just like my military AI job title.
Your profession represents who you are, huh?
Are you saying that one's status defines them? But when you consider that clothes do not make the man, focusing on titles is dangerous. It's only one element out of the many that create the essence of a person.
I guess so. You know, I was thinking about something earlier. Is there any possibility that I worked here?
You mean as a staff member? At a facility that closed years ago?
Maybe I came back to pick up something I forgot?
Nah, I doubt it. I searched the data, and there was no record of someone like you. Besides, this site was unmanned. There were no employees who could leave something behind.
Still no clues then.
If I were playing, I guess... Oh, sorry. The HP up sounds like an incredible upgrade. Max health increases by 300%. Okay, but I don't actually know what 100% is. This, assuming a linear amount, you can see at the bottom left of the screen.
I think I'll take a break.
Fucking. This is obviously not 3 times the health you normally have. But there are a couple problems with it. Number one, when you are boosted... Sorry. As you take damage, you lose Exo Force power. So you will eventually lose your boosted amount. And that could be, at level 10, 1,500. So basically you could lose 800% of your life just for dropping down out of the boosted status. This becomes less of an issue as you unlock more of these, so your gauge, your limit break, or your Exo Force is actually larger. But still, it does mean that without even getting hit enough times to deplete your health at that level, you just drop a huge chunk of your life. So to that degree, or to that emphasis, we're going to go with defense for the time being, but ammo up also wouldn't be bad. Especially if you plan to go with the Photon Beam, which levels up magazine as its upgrade. So why don't we go and switch to ammo up? the crosshair area, take a look, it turns yellow above him. Look above my reticle, sorry. See how it turns yellow right there? That's him firing. This is your dodge. The game does have a clunky dodge system when you're moving around. So let's say that I'm walking in this direction, and then I jump, and I want to maybe dodge over there. So you feel like, oh, just press W and dodge. Well, let's try that. She actually still dodged forward. That's really clunky to me. Maybe that's some happenstance for converting things to Willow for controllers. I don't know. But you also do actually get, at least animation-wise, if I were to be aiming and then hold backwards dodge, your character does a flip. That's about it. She doesn't do anything like that for sideways dodges. This will go on for about 5 more floors. Just what we've seen. Yeah, they'll throw in a new monster every floor, but it doesn't help keep the player's interest.
Sounds like you're in a rough patch.
Easy for you to say. It's not your problem.
Sorry. It's actually impossible for AI to be unsympathetic to the affairs of others, you know. We conduct simulations and get a sense of what it's like to be the person involved, more or less. So, I'm an entity that empathizes with you.
Yeah, well, then start acting like it. Why are the robots attacking anyway? Aren't there supposed to be 3 laws of robotics?
3 laws of robotics, huh? It's kinda questionable to take the words defined by one author as absolute. Let's shelve those laws. What do you think about the situation right now?
I'm asking you because I don't know.
Then we agree. Neither of us know why the robots are attacking you. Maybe they're malfunctioning?
Huh, you're seriously useless.
Alright, this one is...
Is this what connects the rooms? What is this?
It's a short-distance warp, commonly known as a portal. It connects spaces within a certain distance. Just think of it as a special little door of sorts.
Is there any point in investigating this? I didn't think an AI would be clueless too.
That's disappointing to hear. Remember, I simulate what it's like to be involved. So, if you don't get it, neither will I. Doesn't it make you feel similar to me? Close, even?
I'd prefer someone who could just solve everything in a snap.
The Deus Ex Machina only exists in stories. It is information gathered yourself that leads to solutions.
Says the one who does nothing.
Alright, this is just a heal beacon. It charges you for how much health you've lost. And as you advance in each tier of weapons lab, essentially, it will charge more. Your shops will charge more as well. I don't want to say floor, because there's 5 floors for the first weapons lab, and then there's 6 floors for the second weapons lab, and then there's 7 floors for the third weapons lab. And then when you do your second run, it's like 6 floors for the first, 7 for the next, and so forth. But yeah, we are on weapons testing ground security 3, or sector 3. Even if we go to the next floor.
How many of these damn rooms are there?
A journey without knowing the destination can be stressful indeed. With that said, haste makes waste. Taking the next step is what's truly important.
Less talking, more guiding.
I can't do that.
Why not?
This is a testing facility. There are robots stationed on each floor. Since they're experimental machines, they can't interact. You can only maneuver via portal. Pretty irritating design, right?
This isn't funny.
This is a health charge up. It's instantly used. You can't carry it with you. There's class 1, class 2, and class 3, light, moderate, and
I think I'll take a break.
And heavy. We're going to just pick it up now, but it doesn't help us at all. You can't carry it around like a potion or anything. You could, however, leave it there. They will stay pretty much until you leave the floor. Even if you take a special portal, like we just went, which is a randomly generated room, bonus room typically. There is one room that could be considered not a bonus room. But yeah, they'll still stay there even then. When you leave the bonus room, though, you can never go back to it. What I mean is, that medical, if I had left it there, jumped through the special portal, and then came back out of the special portal, that med kit would still be there. It doesn't, however, stay there if you suspend.
So we can only move between floors using the portal?
Isn't that what I said?
Then why can't you tell me where it goes and help guide me?
Well, looks like the portal is malfunctioning. The destinations are scattered. The destination changes after a set amount of time, too.
I want to punch whoever made the system. Looks like we'll just have to muscle our way through.
Don't be so down in the dumps. You never know when good luck may turn up.
You have good news?
You're so impatient. I meant there might be some in the future.
It's starting to feel like meeting you was bad luck.
I was trying to show there while they were talking that the lasers will only activate while you're in the room. This gives you the advantage that you'll never be shot the moment you step in. So that is nice. That is a nice touch by the developers. Now, while I could dash through, I have found that often, even when I completely dash through safely, or what should be safely, I still get hurt. So we saw a healing room. This is a shop room. I wish they would just replace it with an actual shop of some sort and maybe give you a full stock of things to buy. Generally, if I see a shop room, it's one of the worst rooms you can go in. It's very useless. We have some heals here. These are green, so I don't need to really look at each one. But this is the interface for every shop, and it's lame. I could buy a level 4 rapid shadow for $300. I have 2,251 at the top left of the screen. The only thing I would probably buy is if it had more ammo skill points. But here is a health one. You can see the heart. And here is, I think, a frost one. No, aim correction. Okay. Which, I guess, if you were having trouble shooting at the enemy, that would give you a hand. But if you are having trouble, I don't think you're going to get very far in the game. That's not me being mean. The game can be difficult. Really, at the boss fights. And that's probably if you're not equipped well. Once you're equipped well, it should be fine. As long as you're willing to sit there and observe enemy attacks and learn how they fight. That one hit me. So I took a little bit of damage of that, but my armor resisted it, so a piece of my armor must have gotten knocked off. I think my left shoulder right there. The first room that had this thing, that's kind of what I would call a static room. It'll always be like that. The game does try to do a decent job introducing each robot to you. Where it generally places that robot by itself or with others of that exact type. You'll notice this more as you advance in tiers when it starts adding elemental damage. So this, the color of the enemy shots, I would say, is pretty much the element. So purple would be your neutral one, and its side effect or debuff would be stun. Then you get red, its debuff would be burn, doing damage to you. Blue is cold or freeze, and that prevents you from walking around. So if you get hit by a cold and you are debuffed by that, you can still stand there and shoot. You just can't move. If you try to move, your character will stagger. Then lightning or shock will prevent you from attacking. I like lightning, so that's what we'll be saving our money for, is lightning weapons. I'm currently equipped with a rapid shadow level 2. And I do know that I did know that my blast haze, my shotgun, was level 3, so I switched to it, and so that way when I pick up this blast haze, I actually get an upgrade rather than dual wielding
Can't just
shotguns.
stand around.
Which is not a thing you can do, but should totally be a thing. I do think that the game should let you carry more weapons, especially with the way it's designed to level things up. For example, right now we're level 3 ammo, but if I wanted to change my build for, like, say, health or defense, I have to start over at level 1. And, of course, you have to throw away your ammo level 3. You can't take it with you, you can't store it anywhere. The game just does not want you to play it. That is the vibe I get. See how they dodged through that? I still took damage. It might be the... I mean, it could be just at the beginning of the dodge, but I was pretty close to those lasers as it was. You can only replenish your armor at the stage 0, basically where you spawn, which, if you don't die, you'll never see, unless you take the emergency portal back. And there are reasons to take it back. For example, when you fight the boss, you cannot warp back. The reason I mention it at that point is, on the boss floor, you can warp back. So, when you get to the first boss, you have to think, am I ready for this? If not, go ahead and warp back. Now, if you defeat that first boss, you'll probably take a bit of damage if it's your first time fighting him, and you'll wish you could warp back. You can't. So the best way you can give yourself an edge to fight the second boss is work your way down all the way through Weapon Testing Ground Sector 2. All the way through. Basically, you fight the first boss, work your way all the way through the end of Sector 2, I'm sorry, and then warp back, which is a bit much to ask, but it does give you that advantage. Maybe you should go for the... You know, I don't generally use the Raven Strike. We'll go and switch to that. This one's a pistol. I'll go and equip it for a while. Actually, we'll go and make that our primary instead of the Blast Haze. I hope I got it right. I'm pretty sure this one's my primary, so if I were to die, this would be the weapon we stick with. Not that I want it, I'm just trying to keep in mind so that way when we get the weapons we want, I have the weapon I want. Alright, anyways, this is a pistol. You have to click every time you fire. Yeah, I'll probably never use it because I don't want to click that much. I think I already showed it off. I think I already showed off everything that gun can do. So yeah, that's why I don't upgrade any of this, because I don't really need these weapons that badly. Neither of these weapons are ones I'm going to keep. But once you've seen one floor, you feel like you've kind of seen them all. That's what you get for relying on procedurally generated maps.
Damn. I can't remember a thing.
Seems like you still have amnesia.
I'm pretty sure I've still got common sense. You can tell that much from talking to me, right?
Defining common sense is difficult. It can refer to a broad range of things. There's the saying, common sense isn't common. Unless you can be specific, I can't verify your memory in this.
You're asking for a lot. Okay. I want to know how much general knowledge I have that's considered common in society right now.
And which country and era's general knowledge do you refer to? You've hardly narrowed it down.
I mean, this country, this era. Knowledge included in textbooks for elementary and middle school. Stuff even kids would know.
Okay, then talk about some simple current affairs. Come on, speak up.
Give me a sec. You asked for current affairs, right? Humanity is at war with an alien race called the Contactors. They're mysterious life forms that suddenly showed up one day.
Ding ding.
Was that really a good answer?
This isn't a test. As long as the general idea is correct, it should be fine. Your answer isn't far off from information I can find on the internet.
That's a vague source.
The stuff about the Contactors is probably a little bit interesting, but the back and forth between her and the AI is not. And so the game gives you this premise that
Can't just stand
the
around.
player would like to delve deeper into, but it's totally not the point of the game. The point of the game is to get out of the military complex. And here's the thing. The dialogue does not get interesting until Run 2, Weapons Testing Ground, Sector 1, floor 6, I think. That's a lot of floors. Remember, I gave you a count of how many floors there are in each area. That's a lot of floors you have to go through, assuming that you don't repeat any floors, mind you, which you probably will. Now, maybe I have a high, I guess, bar for what interesting dialogue is, because I have been playing games for about 40 years now.
Contactors are really strong, aren't they? I remember that humans have been losing the war, and we're in a pretty tight spot. Nearly the whole Eurasian continent has been occupied.
Yes.
Humanity is struggling, huh? I guess you can say, back a dog in a corner, and it'll bite.
Strange things have happened because of that saying, you know. Some commanders deliberately force their soldiers into dangerous situations to make them stronger. Yet the idea of humans becoming stronger when they're cornered is pure fantasy.
If that actually worked, we would be winning against the contactors.
When cornered, resource management should be prioritized. Willpower alone cannot win battles.
With a war like that going on, why am I here?
I didn't want to interrupt again by teleporting. I accidentally did it last time because there was a gap in the dialogue, but it might have been 2 different dialogues.
Let's go.
One of the reasons why the dialogue seems like one continuous stream is because I'm moving from room to room faster than the dialogue is. In fact, you don't even have to fight the enemies, but I'm doing so to give you something to watch while they talk, because I could pretty much just run to the next room.
Really? How am I able to fight?
Both your skills and physical abilities are amazing. How much training did you undergo?
How should I know? It's over!
Yeah, so that's why I say it takes too long. I just switched to my SMG there, but I basically stood there for a good chunk of my onslaught waiting for that weapon switch. Because the onslaught does not last that long. There are exo skills that will increase its duration, tier 3 and tier 4 specifically. An easy way to see without having to read everything is just look for the blue number to change. Since you can only equip one of them, it's not that big a deal to sit there and read each one because that'll take you forever. This is one of the weapons we will want. Now, the question is, do I
just stand around?
Still talking. All right. The question is, do I want this to be my primary or my secondary? Not that it should matter because I have no intention of dying. Let me think here. I'm going to put this as my secondary for now. Even though we'll be... Oh, it's fine. We'll go and put it as my primary. Which one would that be, though? Last days? I don't even remember anymore. I guess it doesn't matter that much. So this is the photon beam. I've tested this versus the rapid shadow at level 99 to see which one can take down bosses faster. And while the rapid shadow can take down bosses faster, its range does put you more at risk. This is the photon beam. Now, if you look at my character's model and the way the shot angle is, it's really awkward. But awkwardness aside, it is a very solid weapon.
Those little shits. They're always attacking on sight.
Because they're robots. I don't think they have any malicious intent. That's why we can't persuade them.
That's exactly why they're a problem.
This is what I would call basic tier, or tier 1 or whatever. Not only is there a second playthrough that you do, but the enemy also upgrades with each floor. The reason I'm mentioning this is the ones that spin around in circles are basically harmless if you're standing on a wall, at least at the first tier. I got hit. Because again, I was trying to run and dodge in this direction, but I don't always dodge in the direction I want. What level is that? It's a 7. We'll take it. was trying to dodge towards that door to just get closer, but you can see I was dodging at an angle.
So, what kind of robots were being tested here?
Fully autonomous robots. With their maintenance capabilities, they can repair each other too. Reliable, aren't they?
If they weren't the enemy, maybe.
Generally, there's at least 2 waves in a room. The game tries to give you enough time to clear out the first wave before sending more at you. But if you were to enter a room and then leave it, you'll probably face all the waves at once when you return. Yeah, the enhanced range of the photon beam is why I prefer this over the SMG. Though on my first practice run, rehearsal, whatever you want to call it, of the game, I used the rapid shadow. And then I switched over to the photon beam just to try that out. Because my first instinct or impulse of the game was, oh, photon beam must be more powerful than all the other guns. And I thought, okay, before I do that, I should at least test the other weapons. I'm still at max health right now, but I have taken some hits. The armor has blocked it for me. If you're wondering how scantily clad your character gets, it's basically to the point of wearing, I guess, an undershirt. And I guess not boxers. I don't know. I'm not the one to talk about like women's wear, so. By staying up here, I'm actually not getting the money. I actually need to hop down and collect that. Alright, let me think here. Got some med kits up there. We'll go and take this portal now. Another shot. Is HP up, Seeker, hit points, Raven, and hit points. It didn't say anywhere on the screen. Normally you have to interact with it. The little menu on the right side pops up. Just give me an actual store interface. Code that in. It would be much a superior experience for the player. Alright, so now I need to find a jump pad that leads me to the next area. So we'll say right here. See, I was trying. That was not really the direction I was trying to dodge to, but sure. It still worked. But definitely was not the direction I wanted. We can start upgrading this now. Do I want to bother? I don't know. We'll wait till we get to the... We'll wait until we complete next floor. The next floor is right before the boss.
Can we continue from before? Could you give me an easy question?
What's 7 times 8?
Are you mocking me?
You're the one who asked for an easy question. Specify the difficulty if you're picky. Still, I think that was a pretty good question. If you can't handle basic stuff, then there's no point in asking other questions, really.
It's 56.
Correct. Don't sound so unsure. Was it actually difficult for you?
It's because you pressured me, you idiot! Shoot me a new question.
How about, what makes up the vascular system in plants?
Xylem and phloem.
Correct again. Well, it seems there's no issue with your level of basic education.
but I still can't remember where I was born, or what I was like as a little kid, or what I got up to.
Human memory is often full of fabrication, especially in childhood. Don't you think getting down in the dumps about such uncertain things is a waste of time?
Is that really helpful to say to someone with amnesia?
If you wanted to, you could leave those white boxes, and then use your onslaught in the next room, and then come back and pick up those white boxes. The level 6 photon strike, which is inferior to my level 7.
This place is way too big.
It is a military testing facility. They say, get all your ducks in a row. To make a grand facility, they needed space, of course.
The way you talk is so annoying. Look, I get that you can't tell me where to go or whatever, but don't you at least know the layout of the place? Even just some of it?
Yes. The facility is divided into 3 sections. You need to find a special portal to move on. This portal is different. It might be because its destination doesn't change arbitrarily like the rest.
So, where is that portal?
You're going to find it, obviously.
Guess I'll have to walk. In the end, nothing changes. So, I just need to walk around and look for this special portal, right?
I should warn you. Be prepared. Since you're already being attacked by robots, there are probably more obstacles ahead of you.
Obstacles? Like what?
Who knows?
I've been thinking, you really don't inspire trust in other people.
What do you mean? An AI's purpose is to be involved with humans. Being close enough to trust somebody with my secrets is something I might wish for. In fact, I pride myself on being an AI that would disclose even classified military intelligence to my dear companions if the situation called for it.
Liar. The war with the contactors started suddenly, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. The first strike was when a giant tower fell onto the Eurasian continent.
They really started things with a bang.
There's no such thing as a declaration of war to them.
Really should have just left the grade thing there, but I'm trying to make sure that I picked up everything at least once in case of... Oh, this is good. In your library, you can see what items you picked up. So we do need to pick up a medic class 3. But everything else will show up here, such as elm chip small, whatever. Force packet, that's the blue thing that flies up to me and gets absorbed to give me more limit break points. This is good. Look in the lower left of the screen right now where my health bar is. You'll see that there's a heart attached to the health bar. And then there's that line of the heart going to the left and going to a diamond with a heart in it. Okay, we're going to go and buy this. 600 is the cheapest we'll ever find it, since this is the first sector, right? As we go on through the game, even to our second run and so forth, it gets more expensive. What this does is it lets you come back to life. My suggestion, never fight the boss without one of these. If you don't find it on your way to the boss, play the previous area again. Along the way, you'll be able to level up your exo skill to 10 if they're not already 10. Get more elm chips. If I call it dust, it's just know that it's elm chips. You get more elm chips to continue to upgrade your weapons. This is one of the better chests I just seen. Most of the time, as you saw, it's a level just like 2 items only. While it may seem like 2 is enough for a skill that we only have 1 slot of, eventually you will unlock 4 slots and you'll just never find the one you actually want. If you want to increase your level, your tier 1 items, it's statistically, if all drop rate...
I'll take a break.
Talking. Statistically, your drop rates being equal, you want to continue to play Sector 3 over and over to get your tier 1. And then when you unlock your tier 2, you want to play Sector 2 over and over, and so forth. Ah, I got it. Sometimes you have to clear a room before portals, jump pads appear. This one's a report room.
Over and over again.
So if you want lore, you have to randomly stumble upon them. Let's go ahead and read it. There's, we'll say, 30 of them. Recently, there has been an increase in the use of micro-armories, those are the little crates, for storing personal items. Micro-armories are a type of equipment provided to store ammunition for autonomous weapons, not for use as snack containers or piggy banks. Please be aware that these are tax-funded and allocated from limited resources. Let me just break some more. Now, I would say that the game doesn't really begin until you enter your second run, as in, not your first death, but when you complete sectors 3, 2, and 1, and then you start over after that. I feel like the game takes its training wheels off at that point, because there's a lot more that gets unlocked and uncovered. Such as different elemental weapons that you didn't have access to. Enemies finally firing other bolts that aren't purple. Stuff like that. But it's a long time to get to that point, and I think players, rightfully by that point, might be a little too frustrated to continue the game. I'm not poo-pooing on the game. I'm just saying, like, this is how people are going to see it. So, like, every one of these rooms is separated by a hallway. That's so that they can eventually connect them when they procedurally generate rooms that go off in other directions. But here's the problem with that. When they do separate, you will inevitably backtrack. Here's why. They don't start splitting off until what I call the second run. Okay, so you may say, well, then just take one way and go all the way to the end. Okay, if you take that way, go all the way to the end, the game's going to tell you, you need to find this special plot item. So you better go in the side room. Okay, so if you went to the side room instead of going all the way to the end, not that you know which doors go to which, when you get that special item, you still have to backtrack through hallways and rooms you've already cleared. It's just so much walking, and there's no point to it. None of the rooms will ever connect to another room that you've already seen. Yeah, there'll be another door, but it leads on to another room, another room, another room. There is no connectivity. The rooms do not match up in any way. So if you're going to make the players go through halls, there should be at least some sort of matchup or linking. The original Rogue, when people say roguelike, I have to wonder how many people have actually played that. The original Rogue did have hallways, yes, but you know what else? Those rooms matched up to each other. Those hallways would say like, oh, well, let me take you back to rooms 1 and 3 and so forth. I don't know, man. So if you're gonna force the player through halls, then you should at least allow the players to get into other rooms through it and find their optimal strategy or optimal way back. As it is, the hallways are served nothing more than just, I don't know, maybe it's a secret loading area. Generally, there's at least 2 ways. Not always. Sometimes there's just 1. Sometimes there are more than 2. Now, the level ups that you get for your exo skills can have a huge change in your gameplay. The ammo up is not that big a change. Max ammo increases by 30%, not boosted. 50% boosted. Okay, so the other weapon that I like, other than the photon beam, is the rocket launcher. The rocket launcher is a homing shot, like the Seeker, right? Except it can apply elemental damage, and I prefer the lightning one, which you don't get till run 2. If you wanted to see more, and I showed you more, we would have the flaming rocket launcher for sectors 2 and 1, and then I would find the lightning one on the new playthrough. Anyways, that rocket launcher, even at level 99, is still going to have like 6 shots. So you might get an additional 2 shots out of it with the ammo up. The whole reason we're using it in the first place is because the photon strike has a large magazine capacity. So I thought, we'll try leveraging it. On my first playthrough, I went with hit point up, and then I replaced it just to try things out with defense up. Because I wasn't satisfied with how much hit points I was losing just for using my limit break. Right now it's boosted because it's gold. Well, if I use my limit break or I get hit, it's no longer boosted. It's meaning that you are essentially losing hit points for entering your invincibility status.
You can run.
So right now I'm invincible. I can take all these shots and nothing bad happens. What I would like is if the game automatically had you not deplete ammo at the same time, because you will never reload your gun in time for your onslaught to finish, unless you get 200% onslaught timer from exo skills. Did I get the money? I did not. The next floor is the boss, and that's where we'll end things off. Now, I haven't gone through multiple times, so I only have a level 6 upgrade. I don't have defense or hit points.
I think I'll take a break.
Most of my armor exists, not all of it. And I haven't spent time upgrading my weapons. I'm going to assume or hope that I can defeat the boss on the first try. So let's see. Let's go ahead and upgrade my photon beam at this time. Or photon strike. I can't get it to 20. Oh, that sucks. It's just a little bit more and I would have been able to. Yeah, about 100 more. But I don't regret the purchase I made to get the revive. However, if I didn't buy the 1 ammo upgrade from the shop, I would have had enough to get the 20. I wonder. It's not showing a magazine increase for this. I wonder if that's because I currently have... Oh, that's interesting. I didn't think about that. Maybe there's a max magazine and equipping this ammo up doesn't surpass it. Well, that would take some more testing. Let's go up to 15 for now. I was about to skip it, just so I didn't need to see that, but I've never shown you the animation for it. Unfortunately, the weapon never really changes shape or color or anything as it gets upgraded. I think that's a lost, what do you call it? Opportunity there. But I still would like to see more reload animation other than like, ooh, let me just flip my gun up in the air. That's pretty much it. And of course the gun is green but shoots blue beams. That's fine. I guess it catalyzes or something as it fires. And of course, if you're interested in sci-fi, science fiction-y stuff, you can always take a look and see. Oh look, let me see what the photon strike is. An optical weapon that hits the target instantly. Okay. All right, here's the boss.
Let's go.
So at this time, if you wanted to go back, you would take this portal, but then you have to go through all 5 floors again if you wanted to return. Once you defeat the boss, you cannot go back into this room. Actually, once you enter the boss's room, you cannot go back in this room. So there's no warping back. Meaning if the boss did a big number on you, you're going to have to get to the next boss room in order to return and repair your armor.
What is this?
It's a contactor's bioweapon. Either a modified captured specimen, or its descendant. I knew they existed, but not here.
You should have said something!
There's nothing you can do but defeat it anyway. What's the point of telling you?
I could have prepared for it if I knew, like targeting its weaknesses.
If there were any, I would have told you. So basically, it has no weaknesses.
You are no help at all! Even though I can go back in time, dying still hurts. I have no choice but to do it. I can't just waste time here.
What happened there is it lost its first health bar. There's my second hit. Okay, I've also finally lost health. So yeah, it lost its first health bar and then enters its next phase. You might have seen that I lagged a couple times and my aim goes wild. There goes my stun right there. But I'm still pretty healthy. I have full faith at this point that I'll be able to take down this boss. But I took a little more damage than I would have liked, or at least I got hit once, or damaged once, we'll say. Probably got hit a little more than that, but I had enough armor to tank those shots.
I never expected something like this to be here.
The contactor bioweapon is as powerful as expected.
Is it really no big deal to use something like this? What if it turns against us?
I think this is a scenario where fortune favors the bold.
Do you mean the benefits are huge if it helps us?
It's literal. Good fortune comes to those who are brave. You must be a risk-taker to secure advantages in life. Your interpretation wasn't terribly incorrect this time. But knowing you, it was probably just a lucky guess.
You're the worst.
I think this is where we'll stop our recording for now. Unfortunately, it would take a very long time to
Can't
get
just
to
stand around.
Sector 1, Floor 6 on the second playthrough. It would take a long time to get to that point. But that's where the dialogue actually picks up. It's a long time to keep people waiting. But if this is something you want to see more of, then, just let me know by hitting that like button. We'll say if there's 10 likes in the first day, then we'll go and do the next sector. For the time being, though, let's go. I can't suspend here, so we'll have to enter the next area, and then we'll go and suspend after that. This gives me the next tier upgrade. That's your reward for defeating the boss. And now we can equip the second chip. Under our status right here, it's unlocked. Like, it eventually faded out, or blinked out. But you can't equip like a second ammo up. Things specifically for slot 2 can only go there. I will never find it if I were to replay Sector 3. Again, you start at 3, go to 2, go to 1. If I were to replay Sector 3 at all, I would never find a slot 2 in the first playthrough. Second playthrough, you can. Let's go and transfer over, then we'll suspend the game from there. We're going to go ahead and stop here. I guess we'll pick up this report. As you know, the temperature in this section is extremely low. Once the test mode is activated, never enter without proper gear. Even if you only plan to quickly pick up a forgotten item, saying it's freezing is an understatement. There was a fool who touched a wall without gloves before, and he lost all his fingers. Here, the code is more frightening than the contactors themselves. Yeah. Thank you very much for your Tran plays Scar Lead Salvation. I'll see you next time.
I think I'll take a break.
Good call.